I have a beautiful pile of fabrics right here, and we're gonna turn them into a baby quilt because I recently became an aunt. I've wanted to be an aunt for quite some time now. It wasn't really in the cards earlier because I'm the second eldest in my family, but my brother-in-law and his wife just had a little baby girl. And a huge congratulations to you both if you're watching. We're so happy for you. She's adorable. I've been wanting to make them a quilt for some time now. This is also a kind of a twofold video because this quilt will actually be another pattern test for my friend Delia. She is a Stitch is a Stitch on Instagram. She has her website and everything. I pattern tested for her last year. I made her Merry Magic Christmas quilt. It was a really pretty Christmas tree, but she reached out to me recently. So this one is called Sweet Serenade. It's a little more simple, geometric, very pretty. I think it'll be really pretty with the fabrics I chose. Kind of decided that the front is going to be a bunch of mauves and purples, all solid, which makes me really happy. No prints this time in the front. I also picked out my back already because I've been eyeing this fabric for quite some time. It's just the super dreamy cloud print behind a bunch of silhouettes of flying birds, and I just think it's gonna be a really sweet back to a little baby girl quilt. And then the last piece of fabric that's going into this is this ruby star piece. It's another mauve kind of color. I love striped binding. I don't know if this will come across as striped when I cut it up and sew it. It's a bit large. I love the color, and I wanted something a little bit interesting to kind of bind off the whole quilt. Now, this pattern does come in only one size, and I think that's a throw. As much as I love making these small baby crib quilts, I'm really excited to make a slightly larger one for my niece. She can snuggle with it for as long as she wants, and I hope she loves it for a long time. This is where I'm going to be working for now. I do have a craft room in this apartment, but the state of it is kind of unusable at the moment. Yeah, that's next video's project. It will happen, I'm gonna do it, just not right now. Okay, so what I've done here is put all of our little squares that are going to turn into triangles onto the larger pieces that they will be coordinating with. I'm a little out of breath. I just pulled out my sewing machine, which I haven't used in like 2 months. I'm going to hook it up, but I think before that I need to draw a whole bunch of diagonal lines on these because, as I said, they're going to be turned into triangles in the corners here. I think you're supposed to take all of your colors and make these units, but my brain doesn't do too well with the same task over and over and over again. So I think I'm going to try and make these into their columns, and I'll be able to get a better picture of what the whole quilt will look like, and it's gonna spur me on a lot more. Okay, that is 2 out of the 10 columns done. Most of them are going to be just as simple as this. So it's definitely a super simple process. I think I can get it done in a few days. See you guys tomorrow. So I actually ended up skipping drawing the lines on my little squares before I sewed them this time. I feel pretty confident that I got a straight enough line on all of them that it won't be a big deal. I can't recommend this for beginner quilters just because it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's gonna make this a lot quicker for me, so I think I'm just gonna skip it and cut and iron it just like this, and it'll be good. Alright, I believe these pieces lay like that, so I'm gonna go ahead and pin them. Now we're going to make the middle column. This one's pretty much the same, except the last 4 have an extra piece on them. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay, so as I mentioned, 4 of these guys are going to get an extra corner right here, which will be this color. It's gonna look something like this, and this is going to be the very center of the quilt. Getting exciting. Alright, look at all the progress we made. We have 2 sets of 3 columns, which is awesome. And technically, they're going to be laying something a little more like this. So the last 4 rows are going to go here and here. And it'll kind of be mirrored, but not really, but really pretty. Did you go the full way? No. You noticed? Yeah, noticing is better than going the entire length of your thing without realizing you ran on the bottom. That's not fun. So my dining room table is now being taken up by a 1,000-piece puzzle. It's gonna look like this in the end, but we're not super far on it. So we are going to finish my quilt in my craft room in all of its slightly cluttered glory. Cross helped me clean out a bunch of this last night, which I'm super grateful for. So now I have a couple different clear workspaces, and I think it'll work for the rest of this project. And then I've got to organize this room so that I can actually use it. But I've got to get this quilt done. Things keep on coming up. I thought I was going to be able to finish it the day after I talked to you last, and that did not work out. It's been like a week and a half since that, I think. We are going to finish it today because I want to long arm it in a couple days and get it finished and bound and washed before the deadline for the test. Okay, I now have 2 identical pieces of my quilt, which means that all of my cut pieces are sewn, and this is it. These, whoa, I keep losing this. These are 2 halves of my quilt. Super excited. The one thing that remains is to go ahead and take one of these, flip it to put it upside down so it's kind of mirrored, kind of not since they're identical. I tried explaining this earlier, but you'll see it in a minute. I tried to iron all of my pieces in such a way that I can nest my seams. We're about to see if that's actually going to work. Wish me luck. Here we go on a very long seam. Okay, back in the living room to show off the finished piece. This is it. My lighting is a little bit wonky because it's super gray outside, but I think it's really, really cute. It's quite large for comparison. There's my sofa, and I'm really happy with that. I think she'll like it for a long time. I'm really hoping. My seams definitely don't line up everywhere, but I think overall it's probably fine. The quality is nice enough. I am going to work on my back now, which is interesting because I'm actually going to try pattern matching and make sure all of my kind of birds line up on the back. I don't generally do that. This one is kind of linear, almost in stripes, but I think it would look less weird if I try and match up a bit of the actual print. Wish me luck on that. I'm gonna get it done today so that I can long arm it as soon as possible. Maybe I am just bonkers, or maybe I was when I cut this fabric, but I cannot find an easy way to make the line of birds match up. If I wanted to match my birds, I'd have to go in a good 7 inches, which is quite a bit, and I don't want to lose that much width. So I think I might just give up and go ahead and seam it down the middle and just hope it looks okay. I don't think it's the end of the world. It's not the biggest print, and I think there's enough going on that it won't be terribly noticeable. I love how I was like, I'm going to pattern match this, and then did not, and I ended up with almost exactly alternating bird stripes the whole way down. Yeah. I've never really been a match the pattern on the back sort of person, and I guess I'm sticking with that now, so I'm not gonna let it bother me. It'll be fine. I cannot wait to long arm this. I think I'm gonna choose like a cute little flower print, something super girly and cute, and then all that will be left is binding. Meet me at the shop where I work to do long arming, hopefully very soon. So I didn't end up talking a lot this last bit. The pattern release deadline was coming up very fast, and I just really wanted to get it done, and I was honestly starting to stress just a little bit over it. I did go over the top, because technically it's not required to have the entire quilt done, you just need the quilt's top done, but I really wanted to get it quilted and bound before the end of it. So it's kind of self-inflicted, I did manage it though. I went ahead and put on my binding, and then I, again, self-inflicted, decided to go ahead and hand stitch all of the binding down. This is something I like to do on most of my quilts, just because I think it looks super polished and really, really nice. I don't particularly care for machine binding it. I will in a pinch, but I guess this situation was not a pinch enough for me. We ended up having a really good dinner, and then we just sat and watched a movie while I stitched in the dark, and I did end up finishing it the day before the release, which was really, really wonderful. After that, I just threw it in the wash because I like to give people washed quilts. They kind of crinkle up once they're out of the dryer, and they look really, really nice. But that kind of concludes the making of this quilt. It's really nice to have it done. I think it's super cute. I really love the quilting pattern that I chose to put on it. I think the flowers are absolutely adorable. Again, be sure to check out Delia with A Stitch is a Stitch. She's got some really cool patterns. This one's super easy, super fast. It doesn't take any time at all, and it turns out pretty cute. So be sure to check that out. She's got all of her patterns on her website for sale. She's also super friendly on Instagram, so if you end up having any questions, feel free to reach out to her. I'm sure she'd be happy to help. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a bit since my last video again. Life is just crazy right now, so I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with my 1 every 2 week schedule. I certainly haven't been doing that for quite some time now, and I'm not making any promises to going back. But I will try to continue to make videos. I hope they're inspiring to someone. That's definitely still a main goal on my channel right now, is to get people inspired to make things. It can just bring you so much joy, and I really want to spread that to others. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope to see you soon in my next. Here is my Sweet Serenade quilt for my little niece.